I'm Allie.
I'm Addison.
And this is the Mysteries of the Touch-Up series, novels by Scarlett St. Clair. The novels are based off of the myth of Hades and Persephone. The original myth is actually called the Rape of Persephone, because why not?
Why not?
Why not? So Zeus actually wanted to give his brother a gift. So he proposed to Hades.
Yeah, propose! I got a ring for you, man!
No!
He suggested to Hades.
Well, I meant to say he proposed the idea.
Not just stuff that proposed.
Yeah, no, Zeus wanted to propose to his brother instead of Hera. Okay, we're gonna cut that. Zeus wanted to... I forgot the word you used.
Suggest.
Zeus suggested that he take Demeter's daughter Persephone as his wife. And Hades, being Hades, probably didn't want to do it.
Probably didn't. He probably was like, man, this is... Your ideas are out of whack.
He figured maybe the kidnapping of my niece isn't the best idea.
Probably not. Let's just get my brother and my niece hooked.
Yeah, let's get my brother and my niece hooked and see how it goes.
See how that ends.
But eventually Hades did, he rode in his chariot and he found Persephone in her garden and took her down to the underworld. The only witness that was there to watch it happen was Hecate. And I believe she's actually the one who told Demeter. Whenever Demeter found out that her daughter was missing, Hecate was like, "Hey, Demeter, I know where your daughter is." Just
hey, Demeter.
I actually watched it happen.
Hey, Demeter. Forgot to tell you a while ago, but Hades came and snatched your daughter up out of the garden and just like rode off with her into the sunset.
Very opposite to the sunset, actually.
Oh, into the darkness.
There you go. And Demeter was actually so distraught that she decided that until Persephone came back to her, she would not let any crops grow. Which is actually how we got the spring and summer and winter and fall. The different seasons were all based off of Demeter's grief. Eventually, Zeus realized his mistake. For once, my god.
The man knows nothing.
Yeah, no, he
thinks with only one thing. We all know what that is.
Uh-huh. And, eventually Zeus realized that he needed to do something, to fix this entire situation and not start a family war. And,
Really?
And possibly the death of thousands of mortals, because...
Wow, I think it's the only smartest thing Zeus has ever thought of in his life.
But yeah, pretty much. And eventually he said, "Alright then, Persephone, for 6 months of the year, you will stay with your mother. For the next 6 months, you will stay with your new husband, Hades." And that is actually how it starts separating. At first it was just eternal winter, and now it's separating between the winter and the summer. Alright. Yeah, okay. So, Book 1, A Touch of Darkness. So, it starts off with Persephone, obviously. She has been locked up in this greenhouse on Olympus for the first 18 years of her life. So by the time she was an adult, she had never really seen the mortal world yet.
After those 18 years, her mother decides to let her off, but without having nymphs watching her.
Yeah, so
her
basically,
every move.
So basically constant supervision that she couldn't even, spot.
Once she gets down to the mortal world, she becomes a journalist and she's in school, I think.
Yes, she is.
Yes. It's been a while since we have read these.
She also has a roommate named Lexa, which is important.
Lexa does not know she's a goddess.
Nope, she thinks she's just a really cool person.
She thinks she's just this nice, angelic person that's really beautiful, because we all know goddesses are the most prettiest people in the world.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, just Persephone playing the part of this fun college girl, this college student. Eventually, Lexa convinces her to go to the club Nevernight, which is actually a gambling club run by Hades.
Hades owns this club. No one has ever purposely seen Hades at this point.
Yeah, he's always keeping himself hidden behind locked doors, but he has been making a lot of deals. That's his whole point. And his deals are rumored to be impossible to win. For mortals, at least.
So he has all these bets and all these people that beg him for things, and they never win, so they have to give him something in return.
Yeah, bet. I give you this, you give me that. Whatever. And eventually, and there's actually a little scene there, Persephone does see Hades before she really interacts with him.
But with Minthe.
Minthe!
On a balcony, which Minthe is his past lover.
Mm-hmm. Ex-lover. He's not fond of her at all. She's very touchy.
He can't get rid of her.
No. She is literally like a fly. She will not go away.
She's just stuck to him.
She will be mentioned at the end of this episode.
We just thought we should put her in there because that she's in that scene, just touching up on him and
trying to get his attention, but he's like, "Ew, get away from me!" Like
I think he makes eye contact with Persephone.
He does, actually. So he also sees her, so it's like match made in heaven,
Their eyes meet from across the room.
There you go. So eventually, Persephone decides to just go off by herself. Just wander around the club and, maybe get a drink, maybe dance, whatever.
Since she does not know the way Hades looks, she meets this man. She knows no idea of this man, who he is.
She just sees this guy at this table,
poker table,
playing poker with all these other guys. She doesn't recognize him, and he just seems like he's there for the games. That's it. And eventually, the other men leave, and Persephone says, "Hey, I want you to teach me how to play poker." That is a big mistake on her part.
Yes. With that, she makes a deal. And we later find out that she has to make life in the underworld.
Yeah, because she lost the game, even though, girl, you were just taught how to play, and now you're just gonna lose first round? Come on. So Hades says, "Alright, you're now under my, I wouldn't say command, contract."
Yes.
She's in a contract.
Because she's not trapped there. She still goes to her job, and she
Yeah.
goes back and forth. What Persephone does is, her idea is, she knows how to garden. She was trapped in a greenhouse. So
Even though, there's a big point in this, she was never really trained how to use her powers because her mother was scared of her becoming strong. So is Zeus. Zeus doesn't like children becoming stronger than him. So he says, "Alright, we're not going to give her that much training." So she cannot really create things with her own magic. So she kills things, basically.
Yes. So she makes a mortal garden in the underworld, plant some seeds.
Even though it's so hard because it's the underworld.
So she goes down there daily and waters her little plants.
And he's just sitting there in the back,
he's sitting up in his
what happened.
He's sitting up in his castle on the balcony in his underwear,
He's like, I wonder how this is gonna go. The land of the dead and a garden.
Just she appears behind her, what is going on?
Alright, I need to look more at this. Oh yeah, during her contract, which I guess you could already guess it, she falls for Hades. Periodically throughout, she's like, "Hey, this man's attractive. He's literally the king of a realm. Money, come on. We love gold digger Persephone." And eventually she does just end up falling for him. She definitely denies it at first. She's not happy about it.
She definitely does it. She goes to her apartment "No, I'm not in love with this man," and sits up all night procrastinating about it.
Also, she realizes that if her mother finds out,
she's
over for
dead.
her. She
not dead because
she's gonna be taken away from her job, her friends.
She's gonna be put back in that greenhouse.
Yeah, basically, one little mistake and her mother's gonna decide that she's not mature enough to be in the mortal realm. Basically, whenever you're a parent and you send your child out for into the world for the first time and immediately they crash your car. That's obviously you wouldn't trust him with it again, right? That's the mentality that Demeter had, basically.
Yeah. So now we're gonna skip forward until Persephone gets very very angry at Hades.
Yeah.
And since Persephone has no training whatsoever with her powers, she randomly, like, vines come out of her.
Oh, yeah, no. So basically, straight up spontaneous, like, random just spurs of magic. She doesn't know how to control it. And she's getting angrier and angrier with Hades because she thinks that she doesn't deserve to be in this deal. Like
he tricked her.
Yeah, like, he tricked her. Like, he didn't tell her who she was from the very start, like he should have. And, like, how is she meant to create life in the underworld when it's the land of the dead? Like, it seems like an impossible task. Hecate is actually in this. Hecate is like a mentor for Persephone.
Because before Persephone gets mad at Hades, she goes and talks to Hecate.
Which,
and, like,
Hecate is the goddess of witchcraft.
Yes.
Keep in mind.
She brings up, this is going to sound really weird out of pocket, she brings up having a baby with Hades.
Yeah, basically she's like, look, creating life in the underworld, they could just mean getting pregnant.
Which I want to mention, in the Touch-Up series, Hades cannot have children, so...
Yeah, apparently it was this thing where when he was given the underworld, he had to take something away from himself to get the underworld. And apparently that meant his fertility. So he physically cannot have children.
Which this comes into play in book 3, so we're not going to get into that.
I was going to say, which we will not touch on in this episode. This is just focusing on the first book.
But, later after this argument she makes life, she goes into the office with Minthe.
Minthe! Yeah, she, apparently, she gets answers out of Hades, basically.
Yes.
She decides, you know what, if we're gonna do this, you have to be honest with me, I have to be honest with you, and
doesn't really work out in the long run,
no,
but...
it's not. very, very, very toxic in the beginning, I think, like, very unstable.
Until, like, middle of book 2, it's toxic.
It's pretty toxic and, like, a little manipulative, untrusting, but Hades eventually told Persephone about his past lover. Of course, he had multiple past lovers. Not that many, definitely not as many as his brothers. But
Specifically Zeus.
Specifically Zeus, But he did have a couple, two of which that are very significant are Leuke and Minthe. But Minthe is the one mentioned here.
So, Persephone gets pretty mad at Minthe. And
even though she really has no right, like, look, he's not dating her anymore, you can chill.
But I think she gets mad because Minthe is still very touchy.
She's still making advances, basically.
Yes, she's still trying to get at him.
Even though Persephone's relationship with Hades is not
literally
any better.
They're getting in bed with each other.
But,
Besides the hot tub style where Minthe just joins them.
Exactly, she's like, alright, you know what, I'm gonna break this up.
Joins them, they're both trying to get it on, and Minthe just walks in, undresses, and gets in.
And then Persephone's like, alright, I'm leaving then. But basically, when Persephone and Hades are not touchy and making advances on each other, they're arguing. Which is, I don't know if you noticed, not a good relationship, okay? So it doesn't start off that well. So really, some could argue Persephone had no reason to do this, but she was angry. She's 18. She's young. You can't blame her.
So,
and yep, our camera cut off. Our recording.
But if you haven't understood what we were saying, Minthe was turned into a mint plant.
Yep, because Persephone just said, you know what, I need to get rid of the competition. And I mean, at this point, you know, she's more in touch with her powers, so she had the ability to do this. And I would say technically she did the right thing, but not for the right reason.
Yeah, but I do want to mention, after Persephone turned her into a mint plant, Hades put her on her desk. On his desk in Nevernight, where you later find out they do some things in that office.
Because, you know, toxic relationships, why not, you know?
So, but I think
that's it. I think that's it.
Because
yeah,
we went on a rant about Zeus.
okay. Obviously, you guys didn't see that part of the recording because it cut off, but we did go on a rant about Zeus, about how eventually Hades and Persephone do marry in Book 3, A Touch of Malice. But obviously, you know,
the relationship turns out fine. They get married.
Yeah,
it's still toxic.
But
they're
fine. They're fine here. They're fine halfway through Touch of Ruin. Touch of Darkness is just a bunch of toxic
behavior relationship. They don't tell each other anything, and they get into arguments because
not honest, not truthful, like bunch of hiding secrets.
They're not used to telling their partner things.
She's also not used to having a partner.
She's not used to human communication a lot.
Yeah.
She's not used to having to tell someone things when she goes does it or something happens. So it turns into keep secret, don't tell your partner. They find out, you fight, and you have sex.
Basically. Also, I mean, hey, it's a lot healthier than kidnapping the girl.
It's a lot healthier than the original myth.
And I mean, obviously, they do change a lot of things, like Zeus himself. Like,
they don't mention that Persephone and Hades are very much related. That Hades is Persephone's uncle, and Persephone is Hades' niece.
Of course, they don't do anything in the story to change that fact. They just mention it outright.
They don't mention that all these characters are very much related, but if you know Greek mythology,
Zeus married his sister Hera, so
yeah,
pretty much.
And he made Persephone with his sister Demeter.
Zeus is Persephone's father.
Which, if someone ever comes up to Zeus claiming to be a demigod, if he denies it,
he really has no reason to deny it.
He cannot deny it, because most people that are demigods are most likely Zeus's.
Actually, at this point, pretty much maybe 85%.
85 to 90.
Of the Greek population is
Zeus.
Some descendant of Zeus because of his infidelities. So
the man can't keep it to himself.
Basically, our big point is blame Zeus, everybody.
Zeus is the reason for all this. He's the one that brought, not in the Touch of Darkness, but in the original myth, Zeus is the one that brought this up. And Zeus is also the reason why Hades has someone to marry. So,
basically, Zeus is the blame for a lot of things that actually happen in Greek mythology, but we will not get into that in this episode. That's not what this is about.
So, I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.